Hey guys, I just want to chat with you really quickly with what I hope will be some encouraging words for you. So, this is my journey to becoming a meditation guide. I have a feeling because I know so many of you have wellness businesses or are naturally gifted at healing or are working on your own healing journeys and you're meditating daily, or you do yoga or hypnosis or just so many different healing methods, you sing, whatever it is. I just feel like a lot of you guys have the ability to be sharing your voice with the world, and I also feel like a lot of you guys are holding back out of fear or lack of knowledge or uncertainty. And so I wanted to share my story with you as a way to inspire you and encourage you that it's really not a small pool of people who should be doing this. It's a giant pool of people who should be sharing their voice, their sounds with the world in order to help heal. So, how did I become a meditation guide? Now, I don't really know exactly what the term should be that I should use for someone who guides others through meditations, but that makes the most sense, right? Meditation guide. It's not some sort of a term that anyone bestowed on me. It's just a definition of what I do. So I have always loved music, so sound, but particularly being someone who performs music. I have a degree in classical music. I am a flute performer. I have a flute performance degree. That is what I was studying in college and planned to do with my life, to be a classical musician. I quickly realized, however, I did not want to play Mozart for the rest of my life. I loved too many other things and loved too many other kinds of music. However, I have always, always, always loved playing music, being part of performance, singing, anything that is just sharing, sound from one soul to another. And the healing properties of sound have always spoken to me. So that is my backstory. Yours could be totally different, but we all come from somewhere. So I want to share that piece with you. Then I also love to read aloud. I always thought how cool it would be to have a career reading books on tape, or being the voice for Disney movies or something like that, right? So I love to talk. You guys know that. I love to use my voice to communicate stories, to encourage people, to make people feel something, to heal, right? But it never, ever, ever, ever occurred to me to lead people in meditation. But I didn't get into meditation until maybe 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And as soon as I began meditating, everyone asked me, well, what kind of meditation are you doing? What guided meditations are you listening to? Well, I didn't really understand the point of a guided meditation. I'm a do it myself type person. I was just listening to sound healing recordings and focusing on either clearing my mind or on having one thought or one mantra, or very much like the 7 types of meditation video I just put out. I was focusing on all of those traditional methods. And quite frankly, found it kind of distracting to listen to other people's voices. That wasn't as deep of a meditation for me. But then people kept asking me, like, do you have any recommendations for guided meditations? I can't get into meditation. I'm having difficulty just sitting quietly. It's not for me. What about guided meditations? Can you recommend any? So I started listening to guided meditations kind of as a way to suggest them to others. And then I made my own guided meditation and put it on YouTube for the sole purpose of teaching my community how to meditate with crystals. So that was something that I have been into for a very long time. Taking my crystal and either wearing it, but usually holding it in my hand, and using the crystal vibration to help to get me into that meditative space. So I wanted to share how to do that. What better way to share how to do that than to just show, right? So I created a meditation using amethyst, and I'll link it below if you guys want to check that one out on YouTube or on Insight Timer. But I took amethyst and I went through the process for meditating with amethyst, which is the same process you can use for any crystal. It's a kind of how to get to know your crystal meditation. I put that up on YouTube, And it was very helpful for my community. It helped explain what I wanted to explain. I come at everything as an educator, right? So of course I would get into being a meditation guide because I was trying to teach somebody something. But it worked for that particular purpose. But I also got so much positive feedback from people on YouTube that they really loved the meditation, and a lot of people were listening to it over and over. And then around that time, people were telling me, you should really be putting your meditations on Insight Timer. And I knew some people who did that. And I thought, well, I'm not who am I? I'm not a meditation, guru. Isn't that for meditation gurus? And I checked out Insight Timer. I found the sound healing recordings, which I loved. And I was enjoying using Insight Timer. And people kept kind of poking at me that I should be on there too. They are loving the meditations that I had started to put out more crystal meditations on YouTube. And, when you get the feedback, I love this, please give me more. Please put this on the app that I personally use. I love your voice. It's very soothing. It helps me to meditate. Like, at some point you have to listen to people's feedback, right? You have to hear what is being asked of you and then turn around and say, okay, I can do it. I will give that to you. And what stops us almost always is fear, fear of rejection. But once people are asking you for it, it's not so much that. I think it's a lack of confidence. It's a fear of, well, what if it's hard? Well, what if I try and I can't do it? What if I tell people I'll put, my meditations out there and then I record them and then they don't sound good and I don't know how to use the technology? There's just so many different things that could come up that could stop you from doing this thing that will help people, right? So I said, well, I guess I can try. So I took that first meditation that I'd ever created and I submitted it to Insight Timer and they approved it and they put it on the app. And then people were listening to it. And I was getting so many of these beautiful comments of thank you so much. I loved meditating with my crystal. That was so helpful. I can totally see how I could use this with other crystals, or I didn't have amethyst, but I tried it with this other one and it worked great. And I have so much clarity now, just so much positive feedback that it was one of those moments where I thought, why did I wait so long? Like, what was stopping me, right? Why did I not just do it the first time somebody asked? The first time that there was a need and I could fill that need, why didn't I do it? Well, we all have our journeys and we all have to overcome our limiting beliefs. But once I started to share my meditations and just receive the blessing of people being blessed, which is just such a wonderful feeling, then I finally decided, I'm just going to put all the ones I have, and then I'm just going to every month add another one because people are enjoying it. I love doing it. And it's a whole other way to help that's not my, strict like teaching courses, workshops. It's an experiential thing. It's a great way to round out the options that I give people. So the other thing about putting my meditations on Insight Timer was that I got a lot of helpful feedback. Actually, people who on that platform, they won't just say, I loved it, thank you so much. They'll say, could you give me 5 more minutes at the end to meditate? Or I loved it, but I didn't love that music in the background. Or my first one had no music, So it was things where people would say, I loved it, and can you do this thing next time? And I love to learn. So I'm like, I'll try. So from there, I just up-leveled every time. I improved the recording quality, the editing quality, adding music, adding more time, playing with the styles that I gave people, and just listening to feedback. And I was able to, over time, just get to where I was getting more and more just, that was incredible, and less, hey, could you do this, right? Because I was getting all of this feedback and putting it into motion. So the other thing is, once I was putting these meditations on YouTube, putting them on to Insight Timer, that actually was a great way for me to practice creating meditations, right? Not just meditating in my own head, but practicing like saying verbal words, right? Instead of just thoughts. And then from there, that allowed me to, in my different workshops that I was teaching, add meditation in because I had this confidence that I could create a meditation. So I began leading meditations in my Intro to Crystals workshop, in my new and full moon intention and releasing ceremonies. In basically any workshop I do now, I'll lead you through a meditation. And that came from that natural process of creating, receiving feedback, creating, receiving feedback, putting it out into the world. And so then once I was doing this in the workshops, now in the moment I'm creating these meditations, which gives me more ideas for the meditations that I would create on Insight Timer. I even lead people through meditations in my coaching calls sometimes now. So it just has integrated so beautifully into my business. But none of that, I don't believe, would have happened, or at least as quickly, if I had not listened to the small voice inside that was listening to the voice of the people around me saying things that you may have heard. You have a soothing voice. I love it when you give me affirmations, when you say the affirmations, because it really helps calm me. I love it when we breathe together at the beginning of a workshop. I love it when you read out loud to us, right? If people are asking you for something and the only thing stopping you is fear, breathe through the fear, right? So I want you to hear from my story that it's not about someone giving you some title. It's not about you already being incredible at this. It's not about you having gone to some sort of school for meditation. It's not about you being a particular type of meditator. The styles of meditation that I've put onto Insight Timer, I have no idea if anybody else is doing it because it's just what comes to me, right? So you don't have to know a particular type of meditation back to front in order to then reproduce that. You're just creating from your spirit and sharing it with other people. Now, the reason I created this course, the Creating Your Own Meditations course, is because I began to start seeing so much positive feedback from people, how I was helping them. Then I was seeing people come and join my community that were finding me through Insight Timer. And this is a totally different audience than was finding me on YouTube or finding me through my blogs or finding me on Facebook. It's a whole new set of people coming into my community from this app. Then I began to see the residual income. The more people listen to your meditations there, you get a little percentage of their membership fees. And so even though it's free, some people pay the membership so that they get all these other cool things, and you're getting a little piece of that by sharing your meditations. So I began to see some residual income. Then I began to get coaching clients, and I began to get people purchasing my products. And it's just so wonderful when all you're doing is helping, and that is pouring back into your business. So at that point, when I was really seeing all I have to do is once a month create a meditation to help people, and it will give to them and give back to my business. Like, other people need to know this. I know I can name 10 people off the top of my head who should be doing this. And there's so many people I don't know, or I haven't met yet, or I don't know they have a talent for this or desire to share their voice with people, right? So if you have ever led a breathing practice, a yoga class, a meditation, a sound healing, if you sing, if you have a podcast, if your voice gets recorded or your music gets recorded and is able to be shared with other people in a way that would benefit them, then you could be putting that on Insight Timer, YouTube, SoundCloud, all these different places online and benefiting people, blessing them, and then it could in return bless you. So I just wanted to share you my little story because it's not something spectacular, and hopefully that will wipe away all of your fears about you needing to be something special before you begin doing this. So love you very much. I want to hear your story. Tell me in the comments below how you got started meditating, how you got started sharing your voice with others, and a goal that you have for that for this year. Love you guys. Blessings to you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.